She blamed me for catching her cheating. Broken heart, wait till you hear what happened next. I saw one text on her Apple Watch and my entire world flipped. Hey Reddit, throwaway account for obvious reasons. I never thought I'd be one of those guys posting here, but here I am, sitting in a mostly empty living room, trying to make sense of what the hell just happened to my life. I, 35M, have been married to my wife, Sophie, 32F, for 8 years. Together for 11. We were that couple, you know, the ones people roll their eyes at because we never fight and seem like best friends. At least, that's what it looked like from the outside. Honestly, for the longest time, I thought it was true. We had our ups and downs like anyone, but I genuinely believed we had a solid foundation. That belief started cracking about 6 months ago. It was small stuff at first. Her phone never left her hand. She started going to the gym at 6 a.m. which she had never done in her entire life. Suddenly cared about her appearance way more, new clothes, new lingerie, started waxing regularly, and even changed her perfume. All of it was under the guise of just doing something for me. Cool, right? I was supportive. I even hyped her up. Told her she looked amazing. And she did. But the vibe was off. She got colder with me, distant. No more morning cuddles, fewer kisses, and sex. Forget it, suddenly she was too tired or not feeling good. Still, I told myself it was stress. Work. Hormones. Whatever. Then one day, I noticed she stopped wearing her wedding ring. Just stopped. I asked her about it. She rolled her eyes and said it was making her skin itch. Something about the metal reacting to a new lotion. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But deep down, something in my gut twisted. I knew something wasn't right. And I wished to God I had trusted that feeling sooner. So after the whole "ring irritates my skin" line, I started paying closer attention. I didn't want to be that guy. You know, the paranoid husband who checks her phone and follows her around. But her stories just didn't line up. She said she was going to a girls' night at her friend Lisa's. Cool, no problem. Until I bumped into Lisa's husband a few days later at the gas station and made a comment about how they must have had fun last weekend. He looked at me like I was speaking Martian. "What are you talking about?" he said. "Lisa was home with the flu. Sophie didn't come by." I played it off, but my stomach dropped into my shoes. That's when the real anxiety started. I became hyper-aware. Every excuse she gave, I turned over in my head like I was dissecting a crime scene. There were more late work nights. More solo gym sessions. She even started locking her phone, something she never used to do. Said her boss was pushing for tighter client confidentiality, which, okay, might fly if she was a lawyer or something. She's an HR coordinator. Calm down, Sophie. Then came the texts she'd accidentally delete, the sudden shower when she'd get home, and the weird half-smirk she'd give when I'd ask how her day was. And the final cherry on the shit sundae? She left her Apple Watch charging on the kitchen counter one night. I walked past it. It lit up. A message popped up from someone saved as Cameron, work. It read, "Still thinking about this morning. You looked so good underneath me." I stood there, frozen. She had no idea I saw it. And that's when I knew, I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I was being played. I didn't blow up right away. I couldn't. I felt like I'd been sucker punched by my own life. I sat on the couch, just stunned. I stared at the Apple Watch like it was some kind of cursed object. My heart was in my throat. Hands shaking. I knew if I confronted her right then, I'd lose it. I wanted to be sure, to have more than one line of filth from Cameron, work. So I took a picture of the screen. Just in case she tried to say I imagined it. She came home not even an hour later. Cheeks flushed, hair in a messy bun, gym bag slung over her shoulder. She kissed me on the head, like that fixed anything, and said, "Ugh, cardio kicked my ass." And I just looked at her. That moment will stay with me forever, watching her lie, so effortlessly. So casually. I couldn't do it anymore. I stood up, walked over to the kitchen counter, and held up her watch. I didn't say a word, just tapped the screen so the message lit up again. She went pale. Then red. Then defensive, instantly. "Why are you snooping on my stuff?" That was her first response. Not, "I can explain," not, "I'm sorry," not even, "It's not what it looks like." Just pure attack mode. I asked her, voice calm but low, "Who's Cameron?" She scoffed. "A coworker." "Who texted you about how you looked underneath him?" She froze. Then, I shit you not, she tried to gaslight me. It was a joke. We joke around like that. It's an inside thing, you don't understand our humor. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Inside thing? I asked. Like inside you? That's when she exploded. You're so insecure. This is exactly why I've been distant. You always assume the worst. I didn't say anything else. I just walked out the front door. She called after me, yelling something about, "If you leave, don't come back." I didn't turn around. Because the truth. The woman I married was already gone. I spent the night in my car. I couldn't go to a friend's place. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want comfort. I just wanted silence. Needed it, really. A space where nobody was lying to me. At around 2 a.m., she started blowing up my phone. First it was texts. "I'm sorry. You're overreacting. Can we please just talk?" Then came the calls. I didn't answer any of them. Around the fourth voicemail, she switched gears, from apologies to anger. That's when I knew the truth had sunk in for her. She realized I wasn't just going to roll over and swallow the BS. By morning, I had a string of texts so all over the place it was like watching a personality disorder type itself out. I didn't mean for it to go that far. We didn't even do anything that night. You pushed me away first. Fine, you want the truth. Yes, I slept with him. But it didn't mean anything. And there it was. The confession. The line I'd been waiting for. The one thing that finally killed the tiny, desperate hope in me that maybe this was just a misunderstanding. She'd cheated. Physically. Emotionally. Thoroughly. Not once. Not impulsively. Repeatedly. And I realized then how much I wanted to believe her, even when the evidence was screaming in my face. That part hurt the most. That I let her lie to me. That I wanted the lie. Because the truth. It shattered the entire picture of our life. The vacations. The holidays. The late night talks about our future kids. The time I stayed up with her crying because she thought she might get laid off. None of it felt real anymore. She kept texting. I turned off my phone. And sat there in the cold morning air, watching the sun rise on a life that wasn't mine anymore. I eventually went home the next day, not because I forgave her, but because it was still my house too. When I walked in, she was on the couch in full pity party mode, hoodie, red eyes, blanket cocoon. Netflix was playing something she wasn't watching. She looked up at me and whispered, "I didn't mean to hurt you." I didn't answer. She followed me into the kitchen like a shadow, rambling. "It just happened, okay? I didn't plan it. I was feeling invisible. You were always busy. You barely noticed me anymore." I turned and said, "You mean like when I noticed you stopped wearing your ring?" She paused. That wasn't about him. No. She hesitated. It made my finger itchy. There it was again. That damn lotion excuse. Still trying to sell me the same weak script like I hadn't already read the ending. I asked, how long has it been going on? Silence. So I asked again. That's when the floodgates opened. She gave me the half-truth version, that just emotional at first line. Then, only once. Then, okay, maybe a few times. Then finally, it started a few months ago. It's over now. I ended it. I asked why she ended it, because she felt guilty. Or because I found out. She didn't answer. That told me everything. I wasn't her choice. I was her backup when the affair crashed. And here she was, trying to tape our marriage back together with half-assed apologies and manipulations. I wasn't buying it. The cracks were no longer just in her story. They were in the foundation of everything we built. The days after that were a weird kind of limbo. She stayed in the house. Slept in the guest room, her idea, like that made her a martyr. She started doing all the things she hadn't done in months. Cooked dinner. Folded my laundry. Even wore her ring again. It was pathetic. Not because she was trying, but because she thought that would undo the damage. I barely spoke. I was civil. Calm. But distant. And I noticed something, the quieter I got, the more desperate she became. Like she wasn't mourning me, just the stability she was about to lose. I found a playlist on her Spotify named Morning Mood Yellowheart. It had love songs. Stuff we never listened to. Definitely not our stuff. One of the songs was the same one that was playing when I first saw that message on her watch. It was their song. That stupid little detail broke me more than anything else. Because she didn't just cheat. She transferred our intimacy to someone else. The private things. The inside jokes. The casual touches. All the unspoken stuff that made us us, she gave it away like it meant nothing. I looked around our house that night, our couch, our photos, our freaking wedding album still sitting on the shelf, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'd been alone way before I caught her. She'd left the marriage a long time ago. All I did was finally catch up. It was a Thursday when I finally snapped. We were in the kitchen. She had made dinner, chicken Alfredo, my favorite. I didn't touch it. Just stared at the plate. She sat across from me, all fake softness and calculated pauses. We can go to counseling, she said. We just have to try. You said you'd never give up on us. I looked up, dead in the eyes, and said, that was before you slept with someone else, Sophie. She flinched. I stood up and asked the one question I hadn't said out loud yet. Did you ever think about how this would break me? Silence. So I kept going. Did you think about what it would feel like for me to find out the woman I trusted more than anyone was lying straight to my face while pretending to love me? She started crying. Said I was being cruel. Cruel. Cruel was waking up next to someone who was secretly comparing you to a guy named Cameron. Cruel was sitting alone in a marriage while your partner was off playing house with someone else. I walked out of the kitchen. She followed me. Why are you punishing me? She cried. I turned and said the realest thing I've ever said to her. I'm not punishing you. I'm just finally putting myself first. And for the first time since this mess started, I meant it. I wasn't angry. I wasn't broken. I was done. After that kitchen blowout, I knew it was time to stop hiding. I hadn't told anyone what happened. Not my parents, not my friends. I'd been sitting in this storm alone, ashamed, like I somehow let it happen. Like her cheating reflected on me. But it didn't. So I told my best friend, Aaron, first. We met at a bar, and before I even got 2 sentences in, he said, she cheated, didn't she? That hit me like a punch to the chest. He knew. Not from any proof, just from how I'd been shrinking away from my own life. When I laid everything out, the lies, the texts, the confrontation, he didn't offer fake sympathy. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Then you walk. You don't look back." I also told my sister. She cried. She always looked up to Sophie, saw her as this strong, confident, put-together woman. I saw the illusion crack right there on her face. "You didn't deserve this," she whispered. And you know what? Hearing that, out loud, from someone I loved, felt like taking my first deep breath in weeks. Because that's what betrayal does. It makes you forget your worth. It rewrites your self-perception until all you can see is what you weren't. But their reactions helped me remember who I am. And that I didn't cause this. She did. About a week later, I came home from work and saw her standing in the living room, holding a manila envelope. She looked smug. "I talked to a lawyer," she said. I blinked. "Okay." "He said if we divorce, I might be entitled to spousal support." I laughed. I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. "You cheat on me, and you think you're getting paid for it?" She shrugged, all attitude. "I gave up a lot to support you. My time, my youth. My youth." She said that with a straight face. Like I'd been some life-draining vampire while she was sneaking off to get railed by Cameron the cardio king. That was it. That was the final nail. I told her I'd already met with a lawyer myself. That I'd been gathering evidence. That the texts, the watch messages, the timeline, I had it all. And if she wanted to go to court, I'd be happy to hand it over and let a judge decide what she was entitled to. Her face dropped. Suddenly, she wasn't smug anymore. She started backpedaling. "I didn't mean it like that, I'm scared, okay? I don't know what I'm going to do." That was the most honest thing she'd said in months. But it didn't matter anymore. Because for once, I wasn't the one afraid. I was done being manipulated. Done with guilt. Done with lies wrapped in sob stories. I told her I was filing. And she could take her envelope and shove it. 2 weeks later, I packed my stuff. Not because I had to, the house is technically mine, inherited from my grandfather, but because I couldn't breathe in that space anymore. Every room was a trigger. The couch, the hallway, the bathroom mirror, all of it felt tainted. I found a small apartment across town. Nothing fancy. 1 bedroom, no dishwasher, outdated carpet. But it was mine. On move-out day, Sophie stood by the front door, arms crossed, eyes cold. "This is what you want?" she asked. I didn't answer. Just walked past her with a box of books. "You're just throwing us away." That part almost got me. Not because I believed her, but because for a split second, I remembered what we used to be. Sunday mornings in bed. Movie marathons. Dancing in the kitchen while pasta boiled. Then I remembered the messages. The gaslighting. The faked gym sessions. And I realized she had thrown us away long before I ever packed a bag. "You already did," I said, not looking back. The drive to the apartment was quiet. Peaceful. Like the sound of static finally clearing. That night, I ate takeout on the floor with a paper plate and a beer. It was the loneliest meal of my life. And the most honest. Word got around fast. Not from me, I didn't broadcast it. But people talk, and Sophie couldn't keep her version of the story straight. Some people reached out, pretending to check in, but really fishing for gossip. Others, surprisingly, offered real support. One of the most unexpected calls came from Cameron's ex-Yep. Turns out he had a girlfriend the whole time. Long-term, too. She found me on social media and sent me a DM, "I think we've been cheated on by the same people." We talked. Compared timelines. Turns out our partners were overlapping their lies. He was telling her Sophie was just a coworker who needed advice, and Sophie was calling him a business mentor. It was sickening how identical their tactics were. But you know what? That conversation helped me in ways therapy couldn't. Because I wasn't alone. Someone else had been gaslit, lied to, and made to feel like a backup plan. And she, too, was moving on. That was the first time I said it out loud. I'm actually kind of relieved it's over. Not angry. Not sad. Just relieved. Because the truth was out now. The mask had dropped. The illusion had shattered. And all that was left was me. Me, with a clean slate. Something strange happened a few days after that call with Cameron's ex. I found myself crying, not out of pain, but almost like a release. It hit me while folding a hoodie Sophie had left behind. One of those cozy ones she used to steal from my closet. And it wasn't her I missed. It was what we pretended to be. The way she used to grab my hand during movies. The Sunday mornings. The inside jokes. Her singing off-key in the shower. But the woman who did all that? She didn't exist anymore. Maybe she never did. I realized I'd spent the last year mourning a marriage that had already died. I just didn't know I was the only one attending the funeral. I let myself feel it. The sadness. The regret. The, how did I not see it sooner, spiral. I sat in that for a while. But I didn't stay there. Because once the tears dried, what came next was clarity. I didn't want her back. I didn't want to fix it. I didn't even want revenge anymore. I just wanted peace. And slowly, it started to show up, in small things. A quiet apartment. Waking up without dread. Laughing again with friends. Sleeping through the night. The grief was real. But it was for the idea of us, not the reality. That distinction changed everything. About 2 months post-move, something wild happened. I laughed. Like, really laughed. The kind that catches you off guard and reminds you your lungs still work. I was grabbing tacos with Aaron and his girlfriend, and something stupid happened. The server spilled salsa on herself and made a joke about starting a new fashion trend, and we all just lost it. And in that moment, I felt light. Like I'd been carrying a backpack full of concrete for a year and finally set it down. No more second-guessing every smile from my wife. No more wondering if a work dinner meant dinner or him. No more gaslighting. No more lies I had to force myself to believe just to keep peace. There was freedom in loneliness, weirdly enough. I started doing things I hadn't done in ages, went hiking again, picked up guitar, badly, started cooking for myself instead of eating microwave meals. I even rewatched a bunch of old favorite movies without having to hear Sophie mock them for being too slow or weirdly emotional. And for the first time in years, I realized, I liked my own company. That was something she never could have taken away, the part of me that still worked, still wanted life, still had hope. This wasn't a comeback story. It was a rebirth. I didn't expect it to happen at the grocery store of all places. I was in the frozen aisle debating between 2 brands of pizza when I heard someone say my name. I turned around, and there she was. Sophie. She looked different. Smaller, somehow. Not physically, but emotionally. Like she was wearing a mask made of apologies and couldn't hold it up anymore. We stood there in awkward silence until she finally said, "You look good." I nodded. "Thanks." She asked how I was. I told her I was doing well. Peaceful. That word again. Peaceful. Then she hit me with, "I think about us a lot. I miss you sometimes." I didn't feel the twist I thought I would. I just said, "I miss who I thought you were." She blinked, and for a second, I saw it, the realization that I wasn't the same man who begged her to talk, who doubted himself, who cried in the car while she texted another man. I was different now. She said she hoped I'd find someone great someday. I shrugged and said, maybe. Maybe not. I'm good either way. We said goodbye. No promises. No regrets. No what-ifs. Just two people who once shared a life, now sharing a quiet aisle between frozen peas and ice cream. And when I walked away, it felt final. The kind of closure that doesn't slam the door, just gently shuts it and locks from the inside. It's been almost a year now. A full cycle of seasons since everything fell apart, or more accurately, since I finally saw that it had already fallen apart long before I accepted it. And now, I'm okay. Better than okay. I've got clarity. Peace. My weekends are my own. My mind isn't a battleground anymore. And I've learned a few things I want to leave here in case someone else is sitting in a dark parking lot at 2 a.m., wondering if they're going crazy. 1. If your gut is screaming, listen. Your intuition isn't insecurity. It's insight wrapped in survival instinct. 2. Loyalty isn't a personality trait, it's a choice. And if someone chooses to betray you, it's not your job to understand why. It's your job to protect yourself. 3. Closure isn't something they give you. It's something you give yourself, the day you stop begging for answers and start building your new life. 4. Being alone isn't failure. It's clarity. It's space. It's healing without interruption. 5. You can miss the person and still be glad they're gone. That's not confusion. That's growth. If you're going through it right now, just know this, the pain won't last forever. The confusion will fade. One day you'll laugh again. You'll eat tacos with friends and forget you ever cried in that kitchen. And when you do remember, it won't hurt like it used to. It'll just remind you how far you've come. Stay strong, Reddit. You're worth the peace on the other side. I have many other stories. Go to my channel, subscribe so you don't lose us. Give me a thumbs up.